Yo, 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 we finna get into it, man. We just had a little technical difficulties. Now we finna work it out. I'm just finna go live on my page and we gonna get this together. You know what I mean? We got some good things to go over today. You feel what I'm saying? So y'all just hang in there. We trying to get it all together. You feel me? Hold up. Islam Mo. Let's go and get it in. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it. Dry, you on here? Let me know if you on here. Let me see. Yeah, man, we got a lot of things to discuss. You know what I mean? Like we gonna be talking about you know what I mean? Like I said, first of all, I want to give all respects and honors to my people. None of this is to cast aspersions or disrespect anybody and how they feel about anything. I'm only presenting the knowledge that I was blessed with and what I discovered. Today I'm gonna be coming from the Constitution. I'm gonna be coming from the Black Laws Dictionary. And I'm gonna be coming from the United States government official records. So that's how we gonna hit it today. And I'm coming out of etymology because you know I use etymology. So we gonna get into all that. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me get it all together. Okay. Yo, yo. Y'all ready? Here we go. We finna get in it. Now, if y'all can't see what I got on the camera or whatever, you know what I mean? Y'all gotta point that out to me because I'm doing this manual. So when I'm be pointing to the screen, if you can't see something, just let me know in a comment or whatever, and you know what I mean? I try to correct my angles. So here we go. This what we gonna start off on. Peep the game. Let me know if y'all can see this good. So like I said, I'm coming from etymology. So a lot of people, you know what I mean, it's different type of dictionaries, but the etymology dictionary is the study of the origin of words and the way in which their meanings have changed throughout history. So it's the origin of a word and the historical development of its meaning. So when you do etymology, you studying the origin of words. It ain't got nothing to do with you know what I mean? You know, modern day dictionary. We're talking about the first people who said these words that we speak today. So let's get into it. Peep the game. Like I said, I come in full respect for everybody. So this ain't, you know, meant to be disrespectful or none of that. I love my people. So peep the game. Now we know what etymology is. So when you go to etymology, online etymologydictionary.com. Y'all can write that down. Y'all can bookmark it. It's a free app. Online etymology dictionary. Look at this. Let me know if you can see it. Hold on. Let me make sure y'all can see it good. Check it out. Now, when you type in American Indian, watch this. There's no such thing. And Indian is an adjective. Like I said, I mean this in all honors and respect. But I'm just only showing you what I found out. Remember, etymology is the origin of the words and how it changed throughout history. So when you see Indian, it says inhabitant of India. Well, hold on, I'm messing up. It says adjective. Remember, then it says noun. Because it's more to describe. Indian, as far as American Indian, is to describe the indigenous. So peep the game. Inhabitant of India or South Asia. When you claim any kind of Indian, it don't tie you to the land. And I got more evidence pertaining to India. In the 1300s, noun and adjective. From late Latin, Indianus. From India. See India. You see what I'm saying? Applied to the aboriginal native inhabitants of the Americas from at least 1553 as a noun, reflecting Spanish and Portuguese use. Listen to this. On the mistaken notion that America was the eastern end of Asia. So it's a misnomer. Peep the game. It was also used occasionally in the 18th century and the 19th century of inhabitants of the Philippines and indigenous peoples of Australia and New Zealand. The Old English adjective was Indisk, and Indish is an adjective, was common in the 16th century. Now repeat the game. Red Indian. To distinguish the Native Americans from inhabitants of India. Is first attested 1831 in British English Carlisle, but was not commonly used in North America. You see what I'm saying? It's not, the original North Americans did not call themselves Indians. No disrespect. Like I said, there's no disrespect. I'm not trying to shine. I'm not trying to put down nobody. But in order for us to be in our proper place, we got to know what the truth is and what it ain't. We got to know what it is and what it ain't. Peep the game. Hugh Rawson, Wicked Words, write that Indian is unusual among ethnic terms for not having much pejorative value until comparatively recently. A few phrases, most of them United States, impugning honesty or intelligence, such as Indian gift. An Indian gift is a proverbial expression signifying a present for which an equivalent return is expected. And you can find it in the History of Massachusetts Bay, 1765. So that's all it say on Indians. It don't say nothing about the copper skin, Negro, or none of that. It's a misnomer. So peep the game. Let me show you something real quick. All this gonna tie together. Now, when you in law, this is the Black Laws Dictionary, 4th edition. If y'all want the PDF of this, if I give you any of these laws today, if I give you anything and you want the PDF or you want what I got, just send me a DM, tell me which one you want, and I'll give it to you. On the house. Peep the game. So this is why we don't call ourselves black. It's no such thing as black gods of Egypt. You see what I'm saying? There's no such thing. Because first of all, we didn't call ourselves black. And second of all, Egypt wasn't created until 1956. So peep the game. When you call yourself colors in law, this is the Black Laws 4th edition dictionary. It's not the Black People's Laws dictionary. It's from the judge, a Supreme Court judge, who wrote a whole law dictionary. It's called legalese. So peep the game. You got to learn legalese. Because how you identify yourself is how your rights will be accepted or what you can enforce. So peep the game. When you look at the word color, let me know if y'all can see it. You feel what I'm saying? Let me know if y'all can see this. So when you look at the word color, let me see. Let me blow it up a little bit more for you. Peep the game. When you use any kind of colors in law, by common usage in America, this term in such phrase as colored persons, black, red, all that shit, right? The colored race, colored men, and the like is used to designate Negroes or persons of the African race, including all persons of mixed blood descended from Negro ancestry. This is the Supreme Court case. Let me give you a quick rundown because we got a few Supreme Court cases we're gonna talk about today. And what you need to understand is, anytime the Supreme Court makes a judgment, that is law. I'm gonna say that again. Anytime the Supreme Court makes a ruling, that is considered law. So peep the game. But whereas a state constitution provided for separate schools for the white and colored races, the term white race was held to be limited to the Caucasian race, and the term colored races to embrace all other races. That's the Supreme Court case. Now listen, this is the most important thing I want y'all to see. Look at this. It has also been held that there is no legal, technical signification to the phrase color person, which the courts are bound judicially to know. So in other words, when you call yourself black and you call yourself these different colors, according to the law, and here goes the Supreme Court case to back it up. According to law, there is no legal or technical significance. So when you see our people getting murdered in the streets, all that shit, and you got Black Lives Matter running around here, whether some people, everybody in Black Lives Matter may not have a bad agenda, but the people who founded Black Lives Matter is messed up. Period. Period. So anytime you calling yourself a color, when you go to court, you have no rights. The courts are not bound judicially to recognize you. Here it is right here. This is the Supreme Court case right here. So this is why you don't call yourself color. You don't call yourself no kind of color. Now peep the game. I want y'all to see this. When you look over here, you go to free woman of color. Look at what it say, free woman of color. Term up to the time of the Civil War, applied to all persons not of the white race, including Indians. So I just showed you, when you call yourself a color person, there's no legal technical signification to the phrase color person, which the courts are bound judicially to know. So when you call yourself, no disrespect, but when you use Indians, you're calling yourself a person of color. Peep the game. Let me know if y'all can see this. Peep the game. So check this out. Now, this something else. Ward of the state. In law, a ward is a minor or incapable, incapacitated adult placed under the protection of a legal guardian or government entity such as a court. Such a person may be referenced as a ward of the court. Y'all peep the game. I'm going to say that again. Peep the game. In law, a ward is a minor. See, a lot of people think minority means it's more Europeans than it is us. Minority in law means an infant in a mile or a minor. That's why it says right here, or incapacitated adult, placed under the protection of a legal guardian or government entity such as a court. Such a person may be referenced as a ward of the court. Now peep the game. The wardship jurisdiction is an ancient jurisdiction. Hold on. That ain't what I want right there. Here you go, right here. My bad, y'all. Check it out. In the Supreme Court case, Cherokee Nation versus Georgia, the native people were legally made to be wards of the state. I'm going to say that again. In the Supreme Court case, remember I told you, anytime the Supreme Court case adjudicates, it's law. So in the Supreme Court case, Cherokee Nation versus Georgia, the native peoples was legally made to be wards of the state. One consequence of this was that they were not permitted to sue the United States government because of their status as a dependent nation. You want to be an independent nation. Peep the game. The Indian Appropriations Act was passed on March 3rd, 1871 with an amendment ending tribal recognition and the treaty system. So no Indian has a treaty that the United States government has to respect. Peep the game. The Indian Appropriations Act, y'all Google that if you need to, passed on March 3rd, 1871 with an amendment ending tribal recognition and the treaty system. All Indians, that means anybody call themselves an Indian, all means every. All Indians was made wards of the state. Thus, the United States government no longer needed tribal consent in dealing with the tribes. Peep the game. Y'all write this down. House Congressional Resolution 331. This is from the government. Everything I'm giving you is government documents. Write this down. Write this down. House Congressional Resolution 331. Peep it out. Look what it say. Reaffirms the government-to-government relationship between the United States and Indian tribes. Number 2, reaffirms the trust responsibility and obligation of the government to Indian tribes, including Alaskan natives. Now listen, go back to etymology. This is why you don't call yourself a Native American or a Native Indian. You don't use those terms. Peep the game. Look what natives say in etymology. A native is a person born in bondage. Listen, this is why the government, this is why they made you a ward of the state. Remember what a ward is? A minor or incapacitated adult. So when you do the etymology of native, it's a person born in bondage. One born a serf or villain. A sense now obsolete from native, adjective, and in some uses from medieval Latin, nativus, noun. Use of nativus is an adjective. Compare Old French naif, which also means, listen to this, woman born in slavery. From the 1530s as one born in a certain place or country. Applied from 16th century to original inhabitants of non-European nations where Europeans hold political power. For example, American Indians. When you call yourself an American Indian, you're saying you was a person born in bondage, y'all. Peep the game. Peep the game. Peep the game. I used to but listen, man, you got to be able to accept the truth when it's in your face. You have to grow. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand, anything they don't talk about is what they hiding from you. That's why you don't hear a lot about Moorish history. And when you do, they only dated to Noble Drew Ali. God bless the ancestor. But at the same time, we're going to get deep today. Because he ain't started Moorish. He ain't started nothing Moorish. He only came to remind us who we were. He ain't invent Moors. People always talk about your ancestors was ran the world. What was the name of the ancestors that ran the world? Who are your ancestors? You can't say Egyptians. Peep the game. So how was the Egyptians our ancestors? When was Egypt created? Let me make sure y'all can see this. Egypt was created June 18th, 1953. So what ancient Egypt? What you talking about? What ancient Egypt? That's all I'm saying. You talking about the ancient Egyptian history from 1953? Then hey, you talking something. But that ain't ancient. My grandma was alive when they created Egypt. Peep the game. So like I said, when you call yourself a native, you're calling yourself a person born in bondage. And and it applies from the 16th century to original inhabitants of non-European nations where Europeans hold political power. For example, American Indians. So when I'm showing you calling yourself an Indian or a native, this is why the Cherokee Nation didn't have any rights. That's why the United States government made them wards of the states, because all Indians are considered colored people. And we just showed you what color mean in law. So when it says it reaffirms the trust, when House Congressional Resolution 331 says it reaffirms the trust responsibility, a minor cannot own property. Why you think you don't see no Indians owning their house and shit? I know Moors that do. Why you think you don't see Indians and stuff doing it? Because they are considered a minor. You have privileges and immunities. So anytime you use any kind of native or Indian, you reaffirm the trust responsibility and obligation of the government to Indian tribes. It ain't just say a few. It say, in other words, all tribes within the territories of the United States. When you call yourself any kind of Indian tribe, you reaffirm the trust responsibility and obligation of the United States government. So that means they over your land and there's nothing you can do about it. This is from the congressional records. This is from the government. Peep the game. Here you go right here. Y'all write that down so you can look at it yourself. Don't just take my word. Peep the game. It's something called Doctrine of Discovery. This is one of the things we don't really know about. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I study law, because law is what run the land. Anytime motherfuckers want to do something to lock you down, what they do? Create laws. So to not study law, you don't know what's happening. You see what I'm saying? Peep the game. Let's see what this say. Let me know if y'all can see it now. You know my angles be terrible. You feel what I'm saying? Peep the game. What is the doctrine of discovery? This is a law. The doctrine of discovery is a principle of international law dating from the late 15th century. It has its roots in a papal decree issued by Pope Nicholas V in 1452 that specifically sanctioned and promoted the conquest, colonization, and exportation of non-Christian territories and peoples. Hundreds of years of decisions and laws continue right up to our own, continue right up until our own time. So that means that's going on right now, can ultimately be traced back to the doctrine of discovery. Laws that invalidate or ignore the rights, sovereignty. See, people talking about sovereign citizens. Ain't no such thing as a sovereign citizen. It's a such thing as a sovereign person or a sovereign people, a sovereign people or sovereign, but there's no such thing as sovereign citizen. You can't be sovereign. Basically means you free. You a free people. Citizen mean you enslaved. You can't be free and enslaved at the same time. So a sovereign citizen is an oxymoron. That's a person who only heard that from somebody repeating what they heard, but they never looked it up. In law, go to the law. United States and around the world. Discovery law, it invalidated or ignored the rights, sovereignty, and humanity of indigenous people in the United States and around the world. Peep the game. This is a Supreme Court case. Write this down. In 1823, the United States Supreme Court ruled in Johnson versus McIntosh that the discovery rights of European sovereigns had been transferred to the new United States. The United States then having unequivocally acceded to that great and broad rule by which its civilized inhabitants now hold this country. They hold and assert in themselves the title by which it was acquired. Hold on, let me make it a little larger if you can't see it. They maintain, as all others have maintained, that discovery gave an exclusive right to occupancy. So that period. That mean they will. That mean if I occupy something, that's different from owning something. Occupying is like renting. You see what I'm saying? Ownership. So the Indians was never the owners of the land. Peep the game. I'm gonna give you government documents to back what I'm saying. Because like I said, when I found this, I was messed up too. It messed me up when I found this out. But peep the game. It gave an exclusive right to extinguish the Indian title of occupancy, either by purchase or conquest, and gave also a right to such a degree of sovereignty as the circumstances of the people will allow them to exercise. Now, peep the game. I want to show you something real quick. This is from the House of Representatives. This is from the Congressional Globe, so that means Congress. House of Representatives, Friday, January the 3rd, 1843 and 45, in regards to the annexation of Texas. Now listen to what this say. The stupendous deserts between Nueces and the Bravo rivers, talking about Texas, are the natural boundaries between the Anglo-Saxon and the Mauritanian races. Who is the Mauritanians? That's the Moors. There is the Valley of the West. Hold on. There is the Valley of the West. There Mexico begins. Peep the game. Thence beyond the Bravo, beginning the Moorish people and their Indian associates. This is a law. Y'all write this shit down. It's called the annexation of Texas. The Indian associates. That's why when I show you this, What it say? The Indians lost the title of occupation. To stay here. That's why this is like that, because the annexation of Texas is telling you they don't run. The Indians don't run America. They associates. This is what the law say. Like I say, this I love everybody. This is not personal to cast aspersions, put people down, and none of that. This is what the government is saying. That's what I'm saying. I ain't reading this from no book. This is from the House of Representatives. That's Congress. Congress recognizes that Moorish people and their Indian associates. So when you see them Indian reservations and stuff, that's where the Indians had to go, because the Moors ran the land. I'm going to show you some buildings. We're going to look at some buildings. And we're going to see if Indians built these buildings that's here in America. We ain't talking about nothing in Spain or nothing. So peep the game. Peep the game. And the Mauritanian race. There ends the valley of the west. There Mexico begins. Thence, beyond the Bravo, begin the Moorish people and their Indian associates. Now, this was in 1845. Peep the game. Let me show you something. Let me show you some real shit. When was Noble Drew Ali born? He was born a year later in look at this. When was Noble Drew Ali born? January 8th, 1886. They created this shit January the 3rd, 1845, and they talking about Moorish people. So that means it ain't a religion. It's not a religion, y'all. This is your ancestors that ran earth. You talking about your ancestors was the god of earth, and it was the Moorish people. And I'm gonna show you etymology on more. But peep the game. I gotta show you this real quick. So Noble Drew Ali was born January 8th, 1886, a year after the crackers said the Moorish people and their Indian associates. That's why the Indians can't get the land, because it was never theirs. This is no disrespect. That's what the government say. Like I said, this ain't coming from me. I don't give my opinions. I studied too hard to give opinions. You see what I'm saying? I've been doing this 9 years. I studied too damn hard to just sit up here and tell you some stuff how I feel about it, y'all. I'm giving you what the government is saying. We got more stuff. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep going. Peep the game. So if you go to 25 U.S. Code, this right here is called subsection. 25 U.S. Code, subsection 2201, definitions. It says Indian tribes or tribe means any Indian tribe, band, group, pueblo, or community for which or for the members of which the United States holds land in trust. This is the U.S. Code. Write it down. Like I said, man. Write it down. Just don't take my word for it. Peep the game. It means a community for which or for the members of which the United States holds land in trust. So when I show you this again, you read and you see what it's saying. Let me blow it up. You peeping the game now. Reaffirms the trust responsibility to the Indian tribes. So this law is telling you the same thing. The United States is holding the land in trust. I'm going to show you how we lost the land. Peep the game. You wonder how we lost our land, right? You know, everybody always asks that question. Well, if we own the land, how we lose the land? Because it was sellout Moors. I'm going to show you what happened. It's the state of Delaware. This ain't me making this up. Everybody know the state of Delaware was the first state. The first colony was in Virginia. The first state is Delaware. So this is from the Delaware website. Y'all peep the game. The Delaware Code online. If you go to the Delaware Code and you type in Title 29, General Provisions, Chapter 1 on Jurisdiction and Sovereignty, they finna tell you. They finna show you how they became the trustee of the Indians. You feel what I'm saying? We finna see how how niggas went from losing their land becoming Indians. Now peep the game. If you go all the way down and look at subsection 106, the Lenape Indian Tribe of Delaware, recognition. Listen to this. Number 1, the Lenape Indian Tribe of Delaware, refers to as the tribe in this section, has an unbroken history of hundreds of years of settlement and continued residency in the vicinity of the town of Chesworld in Kent County. Number 2, members of the tribe preserved, displayed, and manifested close cultural ties with one another by conducting themselves. Hold on, let me make it larger so y'all can see it. Because I don't want you to, you know what I mean, think I'm getting over on you. With one another by conducting themselves in such a social and economic manner so as to identify themselves as being culturally and ethnically distinct. Peep the game. Number 3, the tribe can date their ancestral ties as far back as the early 1700s. Number 4, pay attention. The tribe was formerly known as the who? The tribe was formerly known as the Moors. When the people in Delaware decided they didn't want to be Moors no more, and they wanted to be Indians, they had to give up their land in order for the United States to have jurisdiction over them. That's what all this means. This is from the government. This ain't me telling nobody nothing. This is the laws of Delaware. Delaware is the first state of the United States. So this ain't me just talking. Peep the game. The tribe was formerly known as the Moors, and for many, so we talking about Moors in the 1700s. I just showed you Noble Drew Ali was born when? When in 1886? So we talking about they was calling themselves Moors in the 1700s in America, what you call the United States. And for many decades of the 20th century, state documents such as driver license designated the tribe race with an M for Moor. Number 5, the Delaware School Code of 1921. This is law. Y'all can write this down because it's law. Provided that the State Board of Education could establish a school for the children of people called Moors. See, when I be hearing people talk about Noble Drew Ali started the Moorish movement, you a rookie. Like you don't do no law study. You ain't studying what the government's saying. Peep the game. So in 1921, the State Board of Education could establish a school for the children of the people called Moors. As a result, 2 schools was built. One in the town of Chesworld and one at Fort Branch on Denny's Road in Kent County. So that's proof of 2 schools for Moorish children. Peep this out. Number 7. I ain't gonna read all this, but y'all go. I'm gonna give it to you again. Go back and read it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. See what the government say. Listen to this. Number 7. The Smithsonian Institute issued an annual report in 1948 in which the tribe was referred to as the Moors of Kent County, Delaware, and identified as a surviving Indian group of the eastern United States. This is how we lost our land. And I'm finna say this, and I don't mean no disrespect, but when you call yourself Indian, you're calling yourself a sellout Moor, period. Because if it weren't for the Lenapean Indian history, this ain't nothing perfect, this history. Title 29, Chapter 1, Jurisdiction and Sovereignty. Go down to subsection 106, numbers 5, 4, 5, and 7. That's what the government's saying. That's not me. That's not a book. One of the great bays wrote it, or one of the one of the great Moorish teachers said it. This is what the government is saying. That when the first encounter they had with the original people of this land, called themselves Moors. History, facts, no innuendos, no conjecture. Now peep this out. I'm gonna show you something else. I'm gonna give you some more government document. Like I said, I deal with the government on this shit. Peep this out. Let me know if y'all can see it now. You know what I mean? From a federal depository of New York State, in the Handbook of North American Indians, page 290. United States Government Printing Office, Washington, D.C. So this is in Washington, D.C., y'all. The 20402 is the zip code. This is the stock number. You could go to the United States Government Printing Office, use this stock number, and it'll pull this information up for you. Listen what it says. That among the reputed ancestors of the Aboriginal American Indian population, or the natives, are the Moors and Turks. So anytime you talking ancestor, if you talking ancestor and you ain't talking Moors, you got to check that. Because if you calling yourself a Moor, your ancestors, if you calling yourself an Indian, your ancestors is Moors. Period. And if you can't handle that, you got to deal with self-hate. What the Moors do to you? You see what I'm saying? A lot of people, hey, I ain't no Moor. What you mean? What's wrong with being a Moor? Moors ain't do nothing but just ran the earth. That's all Moors ever did. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you the reason why they don't want you to know you're a Moor neither. That's for a reason. I'm going to show you how. We're going to get into it today. Peep the game. Peep the game. That among the reputed ancestors of the Aboriginal American Indian population, so anybody calling themselves an American Indian, your ancestors are Moors and Turks. That's what the government say. Here go the stock number. Pull it up right here. Here go the stock number. Let me know if you can't see it. Email it. Hey, hit me on Messenger. I'll send it to you. That way you will have it unequivocally. Now peep the game. Remember I showed you etymology is the study of the origin of the words and the way their meanings have changed throughout history. So peep the game. So when I show you Moor, Moor is a North African Berber, one of the races dwelling in Barbary, late 14th century, from Old French Moor, from medieval Latin Morus, from Latin Morus, inhabitants of Mauritania. Didn't I just show you some stuff on Mauritania? Where is that? Didn't I just show you right here? When it's the annexation of Texas, didn't it just say the Mauritanian race in America and their Indian associates? Y'all getting it? This is way before Noble Drew Ali was born. Peep the game. Moors are inhabitants of Mauritania. Mauritania is here in America. Roman northwest of Africa, a region now corresponding to northern Algeria and Morocco. Now peep the game. From Greek Moros, perhaps a native name, or else cognitive with Moros, black. So when you saying more, you saying black. You're just not using black in the adjective. Remember the 8 parts of speech, y'all. You want to be a noun, not an adjective. An adjective describes something. A noun is a person, place, or a thing. When you go to court as a color, you are an adjective. That's why the courts don't have to respect you. You think you a crayon. What's your nationality? Black ain't a nationality. What the land of the blacks? That's not a nationality. Peep the game. We got a little bit more. Peep the game. But this adjective only appears in late Greek and may as well be from the people's name as the reverse. Anytime you see Greek, you got to understand that is the cracker way of trying to listen, niggas build pyramids and shit. Do you think we need a motherfucker, the youngest human on the planet to tell us who we are? You giving them too much credit. When I be hearing people, oh, Moor is a Greek name. Let's look up Greek. Hold on, before I even go further. Let's see what Greek mean in etymology. Listen to this. I ain't gonna read all this shit. Y'all can go back and read it. You feel what I'm saying? But peep the game. The Germanic languages, so they talking about the Greek language, originally borrowed the word with an initial K sound. Compare Old High German, Chirk, Gothic, Krekis, which probably was their initial sound closest to the Latin G at the time. Anytime you hear Latin, that's Moorish, period. Muslims of Spain, Latin, and all that shit is your history. That's your ancestors. The word was later refashioned. Listen to this. From late 14th century as the Greek language. Greek language means unintelligible speech. Gibberish. So when anybody tell you Moors come from the Greeks, Greek means an unintelligible speech or gibberish. That means the Greeks were some retarded motherfuckers. If you want to be technical, that's what this say. That's why I don't pay attention when motherfuckers say Moors is Greek. Well, if you saying that, you saying they were some dumbasses. So you think the smartest niggas on the planet gonna let some dumbass motherfuckers label them? Pay attention. Peep the game. So like I said, so when we talk about it only appears in late Greek and may as well be from the people's name in reverse, we just found out Greek means an unintelligible speaking motherfucker. Now listen to this. Also applied to the Arabic conquerors of Spain. I'm going to say that again. Also applied to the Arabic conquerors of Spain. Being a dark people in relations to Europeans, their name in the Middle Ages was a synonym for Negro. So Moor is a synonym for Negro. Moor means, instead of calling yourself a Negro, you just call yourself a Moor. A Negro ain't got no history but slavery. A Moor know his history. You see what I'm saying? Moors know their history. So instead of saying Negro, slavery, you call yourself a Moor. What does synonym mean? Let's break it down. We're going to get into it because we're going to learn some shit. What does synonym mean? Peep the game. Listen to this. Synonym means one of two or more words or expressions of the same language that have the same or nearly the same meaning. So, shut is a synonym for close. You see what I'm saying? Instead of me saying shut the door, I just tell you to close the door. I'm telling you to do the same shit. So when it say more is a synonym for Negro, you feel what I'm saying? That means instead of calling yourself a Negro who ain't got no history, you call yourself a goddamn Moor who ran the world. And listen to this. This was the Negro's name in the Middle Ages. When was the Middle Ages? What matter of fact, what age we in now? If Moor was a synonym in the Middle Ages, right? What age is we in right now? See what I'm saying? Let's see when the Middle Ages begin. Since Moor is a synonym for Negro in the Middle Ages, peep the game. When did the Middle Ages begin? Middle Age, the period in European history from the collapse of the Roman civilization, it started in the 5th century to the 15th century. So if Moor was a synonym for Negro in the Middle Ages, how people gonna say Noble Drew Ali created Moors? So I guess he was born in the Middle Ages, came up with Moor, died a few times, came back in 1886. That's what you're going to tell me? Don't let these, listen, your birthright is being a Moor. It has nothing to do with a religion. Islam didn't start off as a religion. There's probably a lot of things to be scaring people about Moors. And that's what the European did a good job at. He got boys scared. Everybody's scared. As soon as you start talking certain things, oh, he talking demonic. You scared. Because if the Satan is their enemy, you should be cool with that nigga if you want to be technical. Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend, baby. You feel me? Peep the game. So, Moors in the Middle Ages was a synonym for Negro. So we've been calling ourselves Moors. That is not, listen, that is not a modern term. You feel me? That is not a modern term. To call yourself a Moor, that wasn't invented in the 1800s. That's who your ancestors is. According to the Library of Congress. According to the Library of Congress right here. It says the Aboriginal American Indians' ancestors is the Moors. So Moors are Negroes. It didn't say certain people. A synonym for all Negroes. So the reason why we in the New Age now is because the Moors fell in the Middle Ages. Niggas stop calling themselves Moors. The Lenapean Indians, where they at? These niggas did the weakest shit on earth. The Lenapean, we stopped calling ourselves Moors. The Lenapean Indians wanted to, instead of calling themselves Moors, they wanted to start calling themselves Indians. Indians is a sellout Moor. Excuse me, like no disrespect to nobody. You gave up your land so the government could be in charge of your shit. Peep the game. We're going to get into it. Let's keep rolling. Now look at this. I'm going to break this down real quick. An American is a native of America. But you remember, we don't call ourselves natives. Because you know why? Native mean person born in bondage. This how you read this shit. When you be reading, that's why dictionary. I'm going to have the Constitution. I'm going to have the etymology. Because we going to study some shit. We ain't going to just, you know what I mean? This how I feel. Feelings don't get you nowhere. But full of emotions. You see what I'm saying? We going to study law and facts. Peep the game. So we don't call ourselves Native Americans. But listen to this. Originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans. Now, when you talk about copper, peep the game. This is copper penny, right? Let me see if you can see it. Right? Am I black or do I look more copper skin? Which one? See what I'm saying? We are the copper color. We the real Americans. Remember, he's not white. The cracker is not white. And the cracker is not an American. The Europeans can't be an American. I can't go to China with my melanated girl, have 5 kids, and then my kids have children, excuse me, not kids. My children have children, their children have children, keeping the melanin strong. You can't say you a Chinese person because you live there. Chinese is a bloodline, just like an American is a bloodline. It ain't because you was born somewhere. You're a United States citizen. But to be an American is a bloodline. And we was found here by the Europeans. We ain't come from no slave ships. Name a slave ship you saw in real life. Not no drawings, not what you seen on Roots. Name me a slave ship you seen in real life. Where is it? You been lied to. You see what I'm saying? Peep the game. So when you look at the word American, because like it said originally applied to us or the copper colored races. The word American originally applied to us. So that means the Europeans did not create the word American. What they did was change the vowels on you. Peep the game. If you break this down, American, right? If you change this E to an O, you keep a Moroccan. That's why this shit says the Moorish people of Mexico, Mexico properly belongs to the Moorish people. That's what the House of Representatives from Congress said. That's not my opinion. That's what Congress said. So when you look at the word American, all the cracker did was switch the vowels on you. That's where the power was at in words. It's in the vowels. Y'all doing word magic, work on your vowels. You feel me? That's where the energy at. That's why they flipped instead of a Moroccan, they say American. Just like they did with the Caribbeans. Dang. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now look at this. The Moroccan flag. Y'all see mine in the background. What religion you know got a flag? A national flag at the United Nations. What's the name of their religion? They got a national flag and the United Nations recognize it. What's the name of the religion? Since Moorish science and all that is church stuff, it's a religion, it's an organization. What organization you know is at the United Nations? What's the name of that church? Because when I look at my ID, hold on, let me show you. When I look at my ID, I don't see nothing about no religion. Y'all peep the game, just trying to hide my address. I don't see nothing about no church. Where it say anything about a Moorish American church member of the Temple of 316? Where you see that at? Don't get fooled, man. This ain't got nothing to do with church. That says Allotio National. That's my nationality. It don't say religious organization. Cause I'm looking for the church that got a national flag. Since being a Moor is a religion, what religion you know is at the United Nations? Please help me out. Peep the game. In the early Middle Ages, remember, Moor is a synonym for Negro in the Middle Ages. So when they talking about this flag was first flown in the Middle Ages, niggas was flying this flag. Peep the game. During the westward expansion of Islamic armies across Africa, traditions concerning flags was established that continue to influence flags in use today. For example, Muslim forces favored large military flags of plain colors that they associated with specific dynasties. This is a part of a dynasty. This ain't no church. This ain't no church, y'all. You see what I'm saying? This the flag they was flying, except it was all red. And I'm going to show you something real quick. When they talk about George Washington chopped the cherry tree, peep the game. Peep this game. People don't know what they looking at. What cherry tree you think they was talking about? You think it's so significant in history that this cracker went in his backyard and cut a goddamn cherry tree down? And we got to remember that in history? Y'all think that's important? The cherry tree that he chopped down was the Moorish tree. It was the Moorish flag. I'm trying to find that one. It's one. You can see it right here. He got it draped on the goddamn table. That's what that mean about chopping the cherry tree. He made niggas forget they was Moors. He did a hell of a job on that shit too. Cause niggas showed me, it's like niggas is repelled from being a Moor like cockroaches when the light come on. Like I heard from my teacher, a nigga will put on a dress before a fez. A nigga will put on a dress before his this or his tarbouche. You'll wear a dress before you wear something like this. You see what I'm saying? Peep the game. Peep the game. My bad, y'all had somebody call him. Peep the game. So when you see the flag of Morocco in the early Middle Ages, and Moor is a synonym for Negro in the Middle Ages, this was your ancestors. Was Noble Drew Ali born in the 5th century? Please help me out. Was Noble, because the early Middle Ages is the 5th century on to the 15th century. So that's telling you we was running, this was our flag of our nation. This is our national flag. Now, if the American is the original copper color racist, and Moor is a synonym for Negro, this is why you're a Moorish American. This is why we Moorish Americans. Not because I love Noble Drew Ali like the next man. He did not start this. If he was around in the Middle Ages, then he started it. But what I'm looking at, according to etymology, which is what? The study of the origin of words, right? Etymology telling me that Negroes is the Moors. Not no, when was Saudi Arabia created? Because everybody want to say Moors is Arabs, right? Let's peep the game. Saudi Arabia was created in 1945. So how is them Moors? When the Moors are synonym for Negro in the Middle Ages. In the 5th century, we was Moors. Saudi Arabia was created in 1945. Which one come first? The Middle Ages of 1945, y'all. Help me out, because I'm tripping. Maybe it's me. You feel what I'm saying? Because, you know, sometimes I go to the edge and shit, so maybe it could be me. But what come first? So that means that's not the name of that place. Just like I showed you, Egypt was created in 1954. That's not the name of that place. So we can't talk Egyptian history if that shit started in 1954. That's not the name of them people. Okay, if we Moors then, right? Okay, maybe I agree with you, we Moors. Let's say you me, I'm you. Well, maybe I do, maybe I agree we Moors or whatever. What's so important about being a Moor that they don't want you to know? Why do you think you don't hear about Moors in school? You hear about Negroes, you hear about, where Negroes at in the Bible? If Negro is an ancient word, where is it in the Bible? See what I'm saying? So let's get back to it. Okay, maybe we are Moors, but why would the Europeans hide that we Moors? What's so important about it? Number one, I just showed you the Moors ran the land according to the annexation. So if I run a company and you my associate, do you run the company or do I? Which one? If I run a company and you my associate, is that your company or is it mine? Which one now? Peep the game. So what's so important? Why the Europeans don't want you to know? It's because we used to enslave their ass. Slave didn't go down the way they told you in school. That's why they ain't teach you etymology. Because if you, etymology is the study of the origin of words. So if you look up the origin of slave, it comes from the word Slavs, the Slovakians of Eastern Europe. Peep the game. White slavery, also white slave trade. That's the real slave trade. It wasn't no niggas. That's why they burnt them ships that we used to enslave them in. Because they ain't want you to see that. They just gave you a story of enslavement. Peep the game. A white slave trafficking refers to the chattel slavery of Europeans, whether by non-Europeans such as North Africans. Now hold on. What is a Moor? Ain't a Moor North African? Ain't a Moor North African? So when it says white slavery from non-Europe, talking about your motherfucking ass. That's why they don't like your ass, because your ancestors used to put foot in their ass on their ass. Like one of my teachers told me, if our Moorish ancestors was to come back and see what we doing today, they wouldn't even kill the European first. They'll knock us out first. We're the fucking trash. Because we think we everything else. They laid the history down for us. And we calling ourselves all this extra shit while they was enslaving the crackers. That's why they don't want you to know you're a Moor. Because you'll know your real history that you is. Look at him. Look at his face. This motherfucker so look at the Moor. He wearing a fez. He's so unhappy. And I feel happy for him. Peep the game. This how you put this shit together. Whether by non-Europeans such as North Africans or other Europeans, for example, naval galley slaves or the Viking thralls. Slaves of European origin was presented in ancient Rome and the Ottoman Empire. That is more. That's your ancestors. People talking about, man, they hid our history. Here it is. This is why they hid it. Because we used to enslave the Europeans. They never slaved. We was never their slaves. Period. We was never not Moors. Negroes got a history of being enslaved. Think about this. And I said this before. Every name they give us comes with some form of slavery except for this one. Except for being a Moor. Because they can't let you know about that because you will know you used to enslave their ass. You the slave master. You the slave master. Peep the game. Now, when did Noble Drew Ali build the first Moor Science Temple? And it was before then. But like, let's just use this for common ground. You know, just to get a foundation. Let's talk about Noble, the great Noble Drew, the great and honorable Noble Ali. You feel what I'm saying? Let's talk about him. So he built the first Moor Science Temple, supposedly, in 1913. We'll just say 1913 for the sake of this conversation. When did the Morocco adopt the Moorish flag? So Morocco over there adopted the Moorish flag in 1915. Which one come first? He built the first temple in 1913, right? He was flying the Moorish flag. 2 years later, they adopt. What does adopt mean? Let's break it down. Let's break it down like a Swisser. If I adopt something, what does that mean? Let's look it up. I know what it means, but let's look up. Peep this out. Adopt means to legally take another child and bring it up as one's own. Listen, number 2, to choose to take up, follow or use, to embrace, take on, acquire, affect, espouse, assume. So how in the hell did they come up with the Moorish flag over there when this nigga was claiming it here 2 years before they even thought about it? Peep the game. Peep the game. Now, when was Morocco created? So we talking about the Morocco overseas, right? When was Morocco created? April 7th, 1956. Y'all seeing this, right? People don't want to claim their ancestors. Peep the game. So if this was, when was Morocco created? Y'all can see it. Let me know if you can't see it now. Because I want you to see all this. Morocco over there was created in 1956. The great Noble Drew Ali put the first temple up in 1913. And according to the annexation of Texas in 1845, the Moors ran this land. This how we gonna put it together today. This how I teach. Everybody got their own way of doing it. This how I do it. Peep the game. So they can't be that place. They can't be the real Morocco if it was created in 1956. So when you hear Moors say George Washington wrote a letter to the Sultan of Morocco, they was talking about here in the New York Empire. Don't they got an Empire State Building? What empire you think they talking about? See what I'm saying? Peep the game. Let's keep rolling. Now, look at this. This is government documents. This is from the United Nations. Y'all know what that is. I mean, I'm pretty sure you know what the United Nations is. If you would ever so kindly go down to page 21. It says the Washita del Dungamaya is the oldest indigenous people on earth. Who is the Washitas? They the Moors. That's why everything go back to Moors. Because the nigga in America is the oldest person on the planet. Why you think we so good at everything? Think about this, and I say this all the time. If those NFL and NBA basketball owners, they know we better than them, right? So why wouldn't they just go to Africa and get a whole bunch of Africans to play ball, since that's the original genes? Right? So we come from Africa, and them Africans are, they our ancestors and shit, right? If that's the case, it's because we the real niggas. The nigga in America is the hardest nigga because he the oldest. That's why everybody looks up to us. When you talk about Atlantis and Lemuria, the Moria, come on, man. Tampa Bay, San Francisco Bay. What bay you think they talking about? Peep the game. Let's go. So the Washita is the oldest, according to the United Nations. This ain't my opinion. According to the United Nations, the Washita Moors is the oldest indigenous people on the planet. Y'all want to be Moors. What the hell? Peep the game. Now check this out. This from the state of Illinois. All my people in Missouri. This from the state of Illinois. House Journal. Write it down. Write all this shit down. Because this is... Anybody try to tell you ain't no more, you give them evidence. You can't just tell people nothing. I'm the type of person, you got to show me. You can't tell me a damn thing. You got to show me references, where you got it from. And I don't even too much care about books. Because one thing about everything, history is logged in time. It's a time, date in history. That's why I deal with government documents when I tell people we Moors. I love Noble Drew Ali, but a lot of times when you talk that way, you scare niggas. So what I do, I give you government. I show you what the government said. Because anything in history got a time and a date and a place. So you write this down. Peep the game. State of Illinois. That's they seal. Y'all should know that. House Journal, House of Representatives, 97th General Assembly, 95th Legislative Day, regular and perfunctory session, Tuesday, January the 31st, 2012 at 1:22 p.m. They giving you the time. Can't say I'm making this up. They giving you the time. Peep the game. Go to page 17. Watch this. Now let's see what they say. Let's see what the government say. I'm gonna blow this up for you. I don't want you to think I'm cheating. Look at it. House Resolution 689, offered by Representative Flowers. Look what it say. Whereas the Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, Hamites, and Canaanites, who were permitted by the old pharaohs of Kemet, not Egypt, to traverse from East Africa and later form themselves kingdoms extending from the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, the Atlantic islands, and on to the present-day continental Americans. Now listen to this. Did it say anything about a religion? Or did it give you your ancestors? What religion got ancestors? Like, that's what, help me out. What religion got the ancestors? What religion had to get permission from the pharaohs of Kemet to come to America? What's the name of that wrong religion? That's what I want to know. What's the name of the religion? So peep the game. Peep the game. To form themselves kingdoms extending from northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa, the Atlantic islands, you know, all the Caribbeans and shit, Pirates of the Caribbean, that's what that was there. That was down there. You see what I'm saying? And on to the present day continental Americas. Now listen to this. Whereas the indigenous Moorish peoples of Americas. Now hold on, if you didn't get all that right there, I don't know what to say. But let's break that down real quick. You feel me? This shit says, hold on, let me know if you can see it now. You know what I mean? Because I want y'all to get all this. Peep the game. The indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now united in order to again link themselves with the family of nations. That's why the United Nations just told you the Washita Moor is the oldest nigga on the planet. So if you call yourself anything, keep the game. Y'all be spending this money all the time, don't even know what none of this shit mean on here. Right? Peep the game. This is the United States government seal. Right? That is the United States government seal. This is the Moorish American seal. Look on the back of my ID. You see that seal? You see that seal, right? It's not no Illuminati seal. Hold on, I'll show you something deeper. Hold on, wait a minute. I got something else for you. I'll get it to you a little bit better than that. Oh, look. Peep the game. Peep the game. Peep the game. That's the Moorish seal. That's the seal on the dollar bill. I don't know if y'all can see it. Hold on. Let me get my angle. You know I be fucking up with the angles. Bear with me. Look at the angle. Can y'all see that? You got the Moorish seal right here on the back of a dollar bill. And this is my paperwork sealed with the same goddamn thing. They're showing you it's two nations in America. You call yourself everything. Listen. You call yourself everything you want. If you ain't no money, you don't matter. Y'all hear me, right? You call yourself anything you want. If you can't pull it, crackers act like that. This is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. So if you don't understand, let me pull out a dollar bill. You're this. The Europeans is this. I'm this. That's what these two seals mean. That means it's two governments in the United States that they recognize. I'm not saying you can't be a part of a tribe. Your nationality, you better be over here, because you see what they doing to niggas over here. You see how you getting treated over here, right? So you better claim this over here. Peep the game. United States government, Moorish American government. United States government, Moorish American government. That's what the people be holding money, you don't even know what's on it. It's encoded in your face. Peep the game. Let's get back to it. I just had to break it down like a Swisser. Now, It says, where the indigenous Moorish peoples of America. What does indigenous mean first? Original? So the original indigenous people was Moors, y'all. It ain't got nothing to do with no church. This what the state of Illinois is saying. House Resolution 689, that's what they said. The indigenous Moorish peoples of the Americas are now united in order to again link themselves with the family of nations. And whereas the Moorish American being aboriginal to the territories of North, Central, and South America. What did it say about some church? What church got a flag, y'all? What's the name of it? What's the name of the church that got the flag? I want to know. I want to join it. Because they got rights. You see what I'm saying? That's a church. It got rights. Peep the game. This what the government says. The Moorish American being aboriginal to the territories of North, Central, and South America. I could go to South America and tell them motherfuckers I'm indigenous. They can't say a goddamn thing to me as a Moor. And I ain't got to speak a lick of Spanish. Know your history, man. And not the religious part of it. Peep the game. Have formed a sovereign theocratic government guided by the command principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice through virtue of the universal right to self-determination, as well as with the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. So you can't even use this. This the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. You can't be in America and use this if you ain't calling yourself a Moor, because according to Article 7, it says indigenous people, Article 6, it says every indigenous individual has the right to a nationality. So what the hell is your nationality? If you indigenous, what is your nationality? Because according to this, House Resolution 689 from the Congress, they saying the Moors are aboriginal and the indigenous to North, Central, and South America. Now listen to this. And justice through virtue of the universal right to self-determination, as well as with the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples guaranteed in the Charter. So if you ain't a Moorish American, you can't use the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People because it's only guaranteed in the Charter to the Moorish Americans. Peep the game, man. Peep the game. Now they finna talk about Noble Drew Ali. Listen what they say. Whereas on January the 8th, 1886, Noble Drew Ali was born in the state of North Carolina, destined to become the first patriot of his mentally enslaved Moorish American people. I'ma say that shit again. Niggas is mentally enslaved, calling yourself everything but what you supposed to be. Let's say it again. He did not start, once again, he did not start, according to the government, he did not start the Moorish American shit. Because it says the Moorish Americans are descended of the ancient Moabites. What's the name of that church? It says on January the 8th, 1886, Noble Drew Ali was born in the state of North Carolina, bless that man, destined to become the first patriot of his mentally enslaved Moorish American people. Niggas is mentally enslaved. That's what the Congress said niggas is mentally enslaved. That's not me talking about people. That's not me casting aspersions. The government saying that. Feel me? Now that's what the government said. The government said y'all not y'all, but I'm just saying, government saying boys is mentally enslaved because you think you everything else but a Moor. And the Moor is indigenous to the land. Why don't you want to be anything else other than what ties that Moorish shit is what tie you to this land, not no Indian shit. Because it just feels the Indians are associates. That's not what tie you to this land. Peep the game. Now listen to this. In 1912, he was anointed as El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali by the leaders of Egypt and the holy city of Mecca. Noble Drew Ali went to Egypt and Mecca to get blessed to come back and tell us who we are. Why you think they killed Malcolm X? When they killed Malcolm X? When he went to Mecca. You guess what he found out? Guess what he found out when he went to Mecca, y'all? He found out we was Moors. That's why he kind of started fucking with the Nation of Islam. Because they was lying. We ain't going to get into that. But it just is what it is. Every time niggas go to Mecca, they come back here fucked up. Because they get the truth. They get the truth and find out we Moors. It ain't got nothing to do with no church. Religion. Peep the game. So peep it out. He went to, he was anointed. The key word was anointed. Noble Drew Ali created the word El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali. Noble Drew Ali didn't call himself that. He went to Mecca and got anointed that by the leaders of Egypt and the holy city of Mecca to return to the United States as the last prophet and founding father of the newly risen. You can't rise unless you fail. Peep the game, man. This how you gotta, motherfuckers gotta read shit all the way through, and you gotta know what you read. You can't just be reading books like you look at Facebook notifications. You just scan through what you like and don't like. You gotta read this shit and understand what you read. This nigga was anointed, that's a key word, and he came to rise his nation of Moorish Americans. Because the Moors are the aboriginals to the territories of America. And they got niggas hooked on that slavery ship. Everybody want to go to Africa. Where you in Africa? I'm not giving up my land for go to a strange land. Name some family members you got in Africa. Some of y'all may. 90% of niggas don't even know people from there. But you got a family member in New Jersey. You got a family member in Chicago, North Carolina. A lot of y'all East Coast people got family from the South because that's where life started, up the Mississippi. So I'm from the South, baby. I'm from Arkansas. The Mississippi run right through me. That's why everybody moved to the North. We started off in the South. That's why they said in the annexation of Texas, niggas, Mexico was ran by the niggas. Because ain't Mexico part of America? I know these crackers talking about building walls, but the Mexicans is more American than them. And we don't even stick with them motherfuckers. Divide and conquer. Peep the game. So it says, he was anointed by the leaders of Egypt and the holy city of Mecca to return to the United States as the last prophet and founding father of the newly risen, so we had to fall if we could rise, nation of Moorish Americans. Not religion, nation, nationality. As a result of the 13th Amendment, Moorish people was emancipated from slavery in 1865. Therefore be it resolved. This is what the state of Illinois is saying. Therefore it be resolved by the House of Representatives of the 97th General Assembly of the state of Illinois that we designate the week of January the 8th through 15th, 2012 as Moorish American Week in the state of Illinois. Peep the game. Y'all want to claim y'all Moorish ancestors. They the indigenous people of this land. Period. You can't talk indigenous if you ain't talking Moorish. That's what the law say. That's what the law say. That's not what Tijanie say. Tijanie don't say that. That's what the state of Illinois said. Look at this. That's what the state of Illinois said. Now peep this out. Let me read something in the Constitution real quick. Like I said, I'm giving y'all law and shit. Like, fuck all that other shit. I'm giving you some laws and shit. Protect your ass. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all, if y'all ain't subscribed to my channel neither, subscribe to my channel, because all I do is give Supreme Court cases and laws to help you move with these Europeans. Because they ain't white, and they damn sure ain't Americans. They are Europeans. Their ancestors is from overseas. See what I'm saying? Now peep the game. Hold up. Constitution of the United States of America. I don't know if you can see it. You know my angles, y'all. Y'all work with me. Listen what it says. All debts, contracted, and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. Pay attention. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, listen, and all treaties made, and all treaties, it didn't say North American treaties or the treaties only with the European, all mean every. All treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme laws of the land. I'm going to say that one more time. All treaties made or which shall be made under the authority of the United States shall be the supreme laws of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. So when I finna give you these treaties, Moorish treaties, we can use this in court. Because according to your shit, make them stand on law. This is why you study law. It ain't because Moors think they above law. I know what the law to use to make me above the law. Period. Period. I ain't got to cuss out a European when he pulled me over. All I got to do is throw my flag out the window, hit him with Article 6, and I'm going to give you this treaty. What we going to do after that? That's what Moors do. Peep the game. Treaties as law of the land, according to the Article 6 of the Constitution, said the same shit. Supreme law of the land. If you listen, blacks don't have treaties, y'all. So you don't have a treaty is a contract so we'll know how to deal with each other. Like let's say you from Russia, I'm from here, and when we first met, war always happened before treaties. So we ain't get along. You see what I'm saying? So we come up with a treaty so the next time somebody from my camp run into somebody from your camp, we'll know how to deal with each other. We'll know what I know what I can do to you, and you'll know what you can do to me. If you're not protected by treaties, you're not protected. Peep the game. Now look at this. Treaty commitments of the United States are of two kinds. As Chief Justice Marshall wrote in 1829, a treaty is, in its nature, a contract between two nations. So I just showed you right here, State of Illinois, page 17 just said what? What did it just say? Peep the game. The nation of Moorish Americans. Ain't that what it say? The nation So treaties is a contract between two nations, not a legislative act. It does not generally affect of itself the object to be accomplished, especially so far as its operation is infraterritorial, but is carried into execution by the sovereign power of the respective parties to the instrument. In the United States, a different principle is established. Our Constitution declares a treaty to be the law of the land. It is consequently to be regarded in courts of justice as equivalent to an act of the legislator. Whenever it operates of itself without the aid of any legislative provision. But when the terms of the stipulation import a contract, when either of the parties engages to perform a particular act, the treaty addresses itself to the political, not the judicial department, and the legislator must execute the contract before it becomes a rule for the court. So when we talk about treaties, it's the supreme law of the land. Let's peep the gun. What's the longest active treaty in U.S. history? What is the longest active, that means still alive, treaty in the U.S. history? Treaty of Peace and Friendship with Morocco, with the Moors. That's the longest treaty in U.S. history. You know why? Because it's on the back of a dollar bill. That's why it's the longest. They'll have to get rid of the dollar bill. Like you couldn't even use. It'll have to go out of service. Peep the game. So what is the treaty? What is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship? Let's read some shit. I ain't gonna read all this shit because it's a lot. Y'all go back and read this shit. I'm just putting you on at the beginning of the shit. It's up to you to go deeper. Peep the game. Treaty of Peace and Friendship, Article 6. That's why I said if I get pulled over, I'm going to throw my Morris flag out the window and I'm going to hit them with Article 6 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which says, if any Moor shall bring citizens of the United States or their effects to his majesty, the citizen shall immediately be set at liberty, and the effects restored. Listen to this. And in like manner. So they said even if the United States citizen captures a Moor and brings him, he's supposed to immediately be set free. This is the, ain't no Indian tribe the longest treaty. I'm trying to help you protect yourself. You don't say nothing about no Indian tribes the longest treaty in American history, in U.S. history. So that's the crackers' history. Not we Americans, they United States citizens. So the longest treaty in United States history is the treaty with the Moors. This is why they don't want you to know you're a Moor. Peep this out. Moor Sundry Act of 1790. Let me blow it up so you can see this. Well, that's pretty good. Peep the game. Peep this out. It was passed by South Carolina legislator granting special, hold on, wait a minute. Granting special status to the subjects of Sultan of Morocco, Mohammed bin Abdallah. It recognizes Moors as white people. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's flip-flop. We got to do some flipping and flopping. So when I show you free white people in the Black Laws Dictionary, you see what I'm saying? Peep the game. Free white persons referred to in the Naturalization Act as amended by Act July 14, 1870, has meaning naturally given to it when first used in First Statutes 103, C number 3, meaning all persons belonging to the European race. Who are the original Europeans? Niggas, Moors. Then commonly counted as white, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have immigrated. Now this where it's finna get deep on you. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me. Please don't slip. Watch this. It includes all European Jews, more or less intermixed with peoples of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, and Latin. All of them is Moors. Greeks and Slavic descent. So the Slavs got to be mixed. They got to be intermixed with Moors to become a white person. It includes Magyars, Lapps, and Finns, and the Basques and Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and who? The Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal. So the original white motherfucker is the Moors, y'all. Peep the game. The Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, the mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily. Didn't I just show you more North African? Just showed you that, right? And the mixed Slav, you got to be mixed Slav and Tatar inhabitants of South Russia. Look at this. It does not mean Caucasian race. Y'all see that, right? Y'all see what the Law Dictionary said, right? White persons does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, or Indo-European races, nor the mixed Indo-European, Dravidian, Semitic, and Mongolian peoples who inhabit Persia. So if the Moors is the real white persons, who the real blacks? Deep, ain't it? Deep, ain't it? Who the real blacks? Peep the game. We finna get in it. So peep the game. Going back to this, I had to hit you with the Law Dictionary, because on this one it said it recognized Moors as white people, because we don't. That's a status. You're only two-step thinking if you thinking about that shit as far as skin color. That's a two-step thinking, motherfucker. Status. What's your stat? What's your nationality? What's your status? My nationality, right here on my ID, American. I'm an American national. I'm a Moorish American national. That's my nationality. My status is a white person. Because don't the whites get treated better than blacks? Peep the game. With jury duty as a privilege, Moors was not to be subjected to laws governing blacks and slaves. So if Moors was Arabs, why are they getting them confused with black niggas and slaves then? Peep the game. Couple more things, we out of here. Now look at this. The Barbary treaties, because remember, according to Article 6 of the Constitution, all treaties made and which shall be made is the supreme laws of the land. That's what it say right there. So this is the Barbary treaty. You remember the Moor? He's a Berber or dwelling in Barbary, or Moor dwelling in Barbary. Synonym for Negro? So peep it out. Let's look at the Barbary Treaty. 1786, 1816. Peep the game. Treaty of Tripoli. If you go down to Article 11, look what it say. Let me blow this up so you can see this real quick. Peep the game. As the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on Christian religion. Wait a minute. To all my Christian folks out there, wait a minute. Now this is a treaty. The government of the United States is not in any sense founded on Christian religion, as it has itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslims. What is a Muslim? That's a Moor. And as the said states never had entered into any war or act of hostility against any Mohammedan nation. This is why they don't want you to know you're a Moor, because they can't be hostile to your ass. Name one time you seen a nigga with a fez or some shit like this getting smoked in the street unarmed, and you don't want to be a Moor. You don't want to protect your children. Name one time. I ain't talking about no nigga just saying he a Moor. I'm talking about a nigga dressed up like I am, getting slammed in the street or shot in the back unarmed. Name one time. You know why? Because it's treaties to protect your ass. That's why they don't want you to know you're a Moor. Because they can't be hot. They can't talk to you like you're a fucking child. They can't be hostile. Peep the game. It is declared by the parties that no pretext arising from religious opinions shall ever produce an interruption of the harmony existing between the two countries. Now, peep the game. So when I give you the treaty of peace and friendship between Morocco and the United States, but then I just show you when was Morocco created? One Morocco created April 7, 1956. So apparently they talking about the American Moors. Peep the game. Listen to this. The United States never have entered into any war. They can't war with you or act hostile with you. They can't even act hostile. I know y'all niggas seen the video with the old Moor man. He was driving that white truck. He pulled that flag out and got the cussing their ass out. Let one of y'all niggas try being black. See what happens. See if you'll drive off into the whispers of the night. Indians are wards of states. When you call yourself an Indian, you call yourself a minor. What is a minor? In law, a minor is a person under a certain age, usually the age of majority, which legally demarcates childhood from adulthood. The age of majority depends upon jurisdiction and application, but it's generally 18. Minor may also be used in contexts that are unconnected, to the overall age of a majority. Without a nationality, you're a minor. With a nationality, you are a majority. You feel me? Now, another thing. Moor is a synonym for Negro. Synonym mean the same definition used with different words. Like I say, shut is a synonym for close. If I tell you to shut the door, or if I'm telling you to close the door, I'm telling you to do the same thing, just different words. So Moor is a synonym for Negro in the Middle Ages. So niggas was calling themselves Moors in the 5th century when we was enslaving their ass. Remember, Moors enslaved the Europeans. That's one reason why they don't want you to know you're a Moor. That's the reason why they don't like your ass. You could be a Christian, a nigger, African American. They hate you because they know you Moors. And they know you enslaved them. Peep the game. According to the state of Illinois, House of Resolution 689, it says Moors are the descendants of the Moabites and are the aboriginals to the land of North, South, and Central America. It don't say nothing about no religious church organization. That's from the government. It don't say shit about no Christian. It's an Islamic group or Christian or Islamic religion. It don't say none of that shit. It says Moors are the indigenous niggas. That's why only the Moors could get the land back. You call yourself an Indian, you a ward of the state. Period. And that's the law. I get a court case. Here go the court case. It's the Supreme Court law. Supreme Court rulings are law. That's the law that say you can't get your land if you call yourself an Indian, y'all. Because the Indians are not the true inhabitants. Peep again, let me show you something else real quick before we go. I got something else for you. One real quick, you know what I mean? Let me see. Look at this. Look at Michelle Obama. Ask Michelle Obama. Y'all ever see Michelle or Barack Obama in the streets? Ask them if we Moors. See what she say. See if I ain't no more. Well, what you doing? What is this? It's more Moors flags than it is the United States. Peep the game. Let me show you one more thing. Look at Muhammad Ali with his fez on. We ain't gonna even go there though. Look at Puffy with his fez on. We ain't gonna go there. Look at this. I'm gonna show you this. This is in the White House. So when I show you, you got the Morris seal and you got the United States seal. What is this? What is that? The reason why they don't want you to know you are more because you used to enslave their ass. And not only did you used to enslave them, according to the treaties, they can't be hostile to you. They ain't got no jurisdiction over you. This is why they don't want you to know you are more. Calling yourself an Indian, according to chapter 29, hold on, let me pull it up for you. According to the state of Delaware, title 29, subsection 106, it says, the Indian tribe was formerly known as the Moors. When you call yourself an Indian, you're calling yourself a sellout Moor. This is how the Europeans gain trust over our land. Because niggas start calling themselves Indians. Instead of being known as the Moors. Moors are white people by status, not by skin color. Ain't got nothing to do with no skin. Get over that shit. Because you ain't even black. If you look at your skin, you're brown or olive color. You're not fucking black. This is black. Well, let me get it again. This is black. Is you this color? Peep the game. Is you this color? So you're not black. That's a misnomer. And if you want to be technical, let me show you something real quick before we get up out this bitch. Hold on. First of all, black is an adjective. Remember, you want to be a noun. You want to be a person, place, or a thing. Black is an adjective, but look what it means. Let me blow it up so you can see it. Black means absence of color. Pale. Absence of color. Pale, colorless, worn, livid. This why they never teach you etymology, because you'll know who the real black man is. And I'm going to leave it right there. I love y'all, man. Hit me up. You got any questions? Hey, I'll holler at y'all. Peace. 5 to the left, 2 on the right.